And we're live. Welcome to Matrix Talk, folks.
Happy Wednesday, everybody.
If you don't know, Phil and I'm Kevin.
I'm Phil.
And Phil's one way or the other from me.
Yeah.
And as traditional, you have arrived at how BCBAs can easily master RFT and quick act. And there's going to be quite a few people on. Right. And we're going to wait a few minutes and let these people
coming in. So we're watching you guys come in. And
I'm watching the ticker go up. So
it's great. You guys are all weighing in where you're from.
Yep. Tell us where you're from. I'm from Maine. I'm sitting up in Maine.
Yep. And I'm down in Langhorne, PA.
Langhorne, PA. Let's call it Philly.
Yep. And close enough.
We have California. I know we have England on. We got New Jersey.
Yep.
Ireland.
We saw Minnesota.
Ireland's on.
Yeah. Connecticut. Missouri. Oh, Utah.
Mm-hmm.
And all over the place. Oh, cool. Yeah. Philly on the Jersey side. Hey.
Whoa, over that side. Yep. That's where Phil and I met.
Yep. Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Cherry Hill, just across the river.
On a cold, cold day.
0 degrees.
It was 0 degrees in the hotel, too.
Yeah. Friggin' heat was broken.
That was a cold day. Man.
Only one I ever did with everybody wearing parkas.
Yeah, nobody took their coats off.
Oh, I mean parkas. I mean,
yeah, right.
Oh.
Pennsylvania.
I mean,
Collingswood. Yes, Nick, right there. You go.
They must have got that fixed. I'm sure it wasn't quite that.
Well, you got us moved into a warmer.
Well, that was afternoon, but
in the afternoon. We froze in the morning though.
Right. Oh, Chicago.
East Bay.
We're up to 113 people online.
Southern New Jersey, Grand Rapids. Right, Grand Rapids, yeah.
All right. Been there.
Yep.
Back in the day.
More Florida people.
From Florida. There we go.
Yeah. So, folks, it's good that you're doing this because for Tina Long to be able to issue you your certification, you do need to weigh in. So make sure that you do check in as you come in. Put your name in there so that she can go back and verify.
But Crowdcast is cool in that she can go back to a text file and look over that and see that you checked in.
So then you'll have fulfilled your attendance requirement.
Yes. And if you say hi from wherever, that's proof positive you were here.
You were there. Or Pennsylvania. Yes, and then the other thing would be, you're going to click in below to be able to get your CU. So if you look below us, there is a green button there.
But you got to prove attendance, so
right.
Nevertheless, you can.
But that's how you access your.
Yeah, you'll access that through that green button below, where it says "Quick Act Certification with Matrix Verbal Aikido Training."
Yeah,
that's what Phil.
Someone's asking if they need certain numbers.
That's for Tina to tell them.
Yeah. Just so you know, if you wanted to chat in about that. Wow, Santa Barbara, Miami, they're from Wales. Yes.
13.
Verona. I know where Verona is.
I've heard.
She put her number in. Look at that. Yeah, I don't know that you need your number up, but then Tina will let us know if you do.
Oh.
Yep. All right.
Miami.
Got about another minute to go, Kevin, before we can get cooking here.
And we're up to 127 people.
Yeah, so Tina says, yes, click the green button and fill out the form at the bottom of the page.
Yeah, you scroll to the bottom.
And you'll see it.
Because we want you to look at our stuff.
Yeah.
We're not bashful about that.
We have an ulterior motive.
But we're cool. You'll see.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Portland. Oh.
Portland, Oregon.
Close to you, Kevin, Massachusetts.
Well, been there. But many times. We're just watching the clock. Wait until 105. But we do seem to have leveled off.
Yeah.
But well, still the same people. Okay. So it's level off. So we'll probably okay. We're 105. But we're going to start.
We're going to get started.
How BCBAs can easily master RFT Well, we'll just start with RFT, okay?
Yeah, let's start there. Cool.
And Tina will answer all those questions.
Yeah. Well, this would be, there's a recording, Sam. Yes, you'll be able to get
Automatically.
it
Absolutely.
at the end of the crowdcast. It'll show back up.
Yep, it will. And now 2 more people, 3 more people showed up. All right. Just in that little bit of time. So good thing we hesitated. The way we do this is from a point of view, folks. And it's a very simple point of view that we're going to show you right now.
Yep.
It consists of 2 lines, just like that, with a question. Who's important to you? And now we get to get a whole bunch of people, hopefully, that will type in who's important. And like myself, my wife is important to me. And so I might then go about typing into the chat the word wife. And then just like that.
I would, or you
would. It is not hard. And Jessica says
family. There we go. Now we're cooking.
And boy, you're going to get a bunch of them.
Oh, yeah. All right. So forgive me, folks, if I don't write them all down, but we're going to write as many as I can. Whoa.
This is fun. I love it, man. I love it.
Whoa.
So Phil's
husband.
Yeah, he's just going to write. Obviously, on that whiteboard, he does, and in that quadrant.
I'm going to be picking because I can't write as fast as you all. Pets, yeah, the pets, yay. Pets make
Pets have shown up. Pets are people too.
Myself, yes. Oh, there's somebody.
We got the Eagles. Maybe
coworkers, bosses, dogs, parents. Oh, parents.
Teammates.
Teammates. Excellent. Whoa.
Man, you got a bunch. Okay.
All right. So
now we all have that.
I've just taken a few, put them there.
So who's important goes down there in that lower right. Yeah. Now we're going to talk about over toward the left.
Over here.
In people, there is yucky stuff that shows up.
Yep.
Like fear. So fear shows up inside of you, and it doesn't feel good. So we call it yucky because you want to get rid of it. What other kind of yucky stuff shows up inside of people? What do you think? Beyond fear.
Impatience.
Ooh, impatience. Imposter syndrome has shown up, Phil. That's
another I. Imposter syndrome.
Stress has shown up. Oh no, not good enough has shown up.
Oh, very early on.
We were talking about that earlier this morning. Anger and worry. I'm just sort of unfocusing my eyes. Frustration, anxiety.
Worry.
I think anger went by.
Lack of confidence. You folks are in touch with your yucky stuff. All right.
Oh, dirt. Literally, get dirt on your fingers and you want to get rid
Jealousy,
yeah, all that. So you guys get the idea of what
you would definitely. Oh, depression, depression.
Down in the lower left down there. And so now we're going to bebop up to the upper part, and this is where we have observable behaviors. So for example, like fear, I might say, well, I'm going to run away, and that will solve my fear problem, right? I might run. But for something like tired, I see tired is on the list. What might somebody do to lessen the yucky feeling of tired? Self-isolation, drinking. Oh my God, they're just putting in everything, Phil. We got sleep, but let's go to, they got drinking in here. We got chocolate. We got yell. For anger, we got ice cream. Yeah, ice cream. Oversleep, lay in bed and procrastinate. These people are good. We got alcohol.
I think they've been practicing.
They got, I saw not eat enough, eat too much.
Yeah. I'm going to go eat with an arrow up or eat with an arrow down. How about that?
All right. Shopping, of course. TV.
Naps.
Oh, lots of naps. You guys. Obviously, there are some people on this
junk food, Netflix, snacks,
crowdcast today who are familiar with getting rid of yucky stuff.
They certainly are.
Okay. And finally, we have that nice white quadrant. And that's what we do with the intention of moving closer to who's important to us. So like for my wife, I might go talk to her. I'll just say, I'm going to go talk to my wife. So I put in talk.
Yoga.
Yoga might be it can be away or toward. By the way, any behavior can go on either side. It's just
wine. Okay, we're gonna put wine on the toward side.
We got wine on the toward side.
Drink wine with your family, right? Or your
we got
friend.
Yoga, Pilates, therapy.
Do a me matrix. Ooh, look at
that. My goodness. Meditation on the. This is toward side meditation.
Yeah. Got it.
Kiss my husband. Oh, how nice of you.
Oh, nice.
We got a Peloton showed up. All right.
Oh.
Date night. Date night. Schedule break. I like wine and jogging.
Your wine bottle. There you go.
Just wrap your wine in a paper bag.
A bubble bass. Oh. Bubble bass. They still do
coloring,
that.
Oh yeah, people
meditation, play with the dog, act crowdcast.
There's all kinds of cool stuff, and once again with the intention. And so now to finish off this particular point of view, right in the middle of it, we put the word noticing, and we ask, well, do any of you think you'll have the opportunity to notice who's important to you and yucky stuff showing up, and doing away moves and doing toward moves in the next week or so? What do you think? You're going to think you might have the opportunity to notice any or all of that stuff?
Kimberly says yes. Sarah says heck yeah. Oh, look at all these yeses.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
All right. Okay.
So we got another point of view.
We do.
Because that particular one was actually about you, just the one person. Now we're going to do one about more than one person. So you've joined together with somebody, and now you have a shared purpose. And so we talk about now, what kind of shared purposes might people have? Like today, we might be here for a shared purpose. What might we do for a shared purpose?
What brings you here?
Don't know.
They're about RFT.
Yeah, that's the shared purpose of RFT. I think we got learning in there.
Learning. Okay, good.
I got a CEU, of course.
Get the CEU.
Absolutely. To work on my desk. There we go. That's a good thing to do. Socialize. Practice. Better stuff. Oh my God. I know. There's increasing knowledge. Monetary, all right.
Open-minded.
Yeah, I understand.
Learn, practice, understand.
BCBA. Ain't no way you're ever going to write all that stuff in there.
Nope. Self-improvement.
But you see, we have many self. It's shared. We can work on it together.
We can do it.
So we can do things together. And so now this time, when we go over to the lower left, we're going to talk about social yucky stuff. So it's that special yucky stuff that shows up when you go to work with someone else, either, your spouse or partner or
coworker,
business colleagues or whatever.
Team member.
There's yucky stuff that sometimes shows up. So what kind of yucky stuff might show up in that social realm? You're going to be working with somebody else. Somebody's more qualified than me. Oh, no. Too many demands show up. Self-doubt shows up. Not enough time shows up.
Not enough. Fill in the blank.
My husband isn't being safe shows up. Competition, jealousy. I'm giving you all kinds of good ones.
I'm writing down as fast as you get.
Not enough time. I'm giving you the standards.
Yeah. Jealousy, anger,
laziness.
Whoa.
That's a nice one.
Feeling
overwhelmed shows up.
Overwhelmed, overwhelmed.
Egos show up. Big time.
There we go. Overwhelmed. Ego show
resentment. Ooh, we love it. We love resentment.
Perfectionism. Ooh, perfectionism.
That can show up.
Being
micromanaged shows up. Oh yeah.
All right. So
you get the idea of that social yucky stuff shows
anxiety.
up.
All right, let's put the anxiety.
Well, now in this wonderful world of social, that is, you're with somebody else, you may well do away moves to get rid of that yucky feeling stuff. Like, you might do a microaggression.
Oh,
I don't know if they meant for that to be in the lower left, but you could
do a macroaggression.
You could do that in the upper left. You could definitely do a microaggression in the upper left as an away move. You could ignore work. You could
Or,
call out.
yes, very popular.
You could cancel sessions. You could gossip.
Nice.
You can
Cancel.
procrastinate.
Gossip.
You can vent.
Right. Vent. Nice.
Take deep breaths. Oh, yeah.
Breathe.
I didn't see. Oh, there he goes. Phone games. Phone showed up.
Yeah, phone.
Right. So you guys
Something that none of you done today, which is not show up. Right.
No, all of you showed up. You guys are great. So you had a good time. Really good time. Okay.
Ignore, vent. Right. There you go. Text. Yes. Oh, texting goes over here. Right. Being away move.
Now, of course, folks, over in the upper right up there, we're going to put, I mean, and these are behaviors that that have a good chance of moving us toward the shared purpose.
Right.
Okay. So we're going to seed you with one that's like universal, and that's called communicate. So in order to do a shared purpose, each person needs to know the shared purpose. So you got to communicate about the shared purpose. So communication goes in there. And I bet you stick head in the sand and ignore goes in the upper left. Yeah. And then to get toward the shared purposes, we're going to communicate. What else might we do? We might listen.
Listen, Miriam says, listen, part of the communication.
All right. And other standard stuff, something that we put in there, make a plan.
Make a plan.
And we also, just so you know, we put respect in there. Reflect goes in there.
RFT.
Get training, active listening,
seek help.
Yeah, ask, radical candor.
Radical
empathy, contact.
That'd be a good crowd. Radical
be honest. Listen, understand, then change goals. There we go. Now you got the idea.
You got it.
And that's all that stuff. And then, of course, according to make a plan, there are, of course, specific tasks that you do.
Yeah.
Like
who's going to do what?
Who's going to do what, when, that kind of stuff that you do for shared purpose. And so there you go. And it seems like everybody on the call here pretty well is part of some two or more people team. And so now you might notice, or you might have the opportunity to notice, shared purpose showing up, or social yucky stuff showing up, or social away moves showing up, or moves towards shared purpose showing up in the next week. So does anybody think that you might have the opportunity to notice this kind of stuff showing up in the next week or so?
What say you?
I think you're gonna.
Oh, they're still writing down tour booths.
Here we go.
There you go. Ron. Yeses.
So other than that, you would all had to have been loners.
Yeah.
Like the Jeremiah Johnson kind of thing.
Out on an island somewhere.
So there you go. So cool. And that's also, by the way, known as the we matrix. So the first one's the me, and the second one's that. So that's to get you oriented toward the point of view that we use. And so we'll come back to that.
Right, we will.
But now we're supposed to talk about RFT.
Yes, we are.
Which I think most of the people on here know is an acronym for Relational Frame Theory. Okay. So Relational Frame Theory is a theory of language and cognition. That's what it is. Meaning the scientists sit back and put their thinking caps on or whatever, and they've theorized how humans develop language. And so language is like what I'm using now, speaking out loud. And then also cognitions, which is, of course, the private events that are going on inside of you. And so believe it or not, and I'm sure you know, it's handy to have such a theory of language and cognition. And there's actually more than one, but RFT was developed for a specific purpose. Well, let's just tell you, to be useful.
Yep.
Because the other theories, while they may have been fun to read about, they weren't useful at all.
No.
You just really couldn't use the theory much. Well, this is meant to be useful, and so we'll show you how, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we go along. In the beginning, you are born. We'll do a story here. So you're born, and you come out, and I would ask all of you to recall those first few moments after you were born. Right?
Got it. Sure, all can recall that, right?
You can't recall that.
You can recall maybe what someone told you about that.
MWD stand for now. MWD, I don't know.
No.
I wasn't watching that. So no, what it is up there at the top. Let's go way up to the top of the matrix. Because when you come out, you're just a sensory being. You're seeing things and hearing things and tasting things and touching things. What's the other one? Did I get
smelling things?
Those five senses things.
There you go.
That's what you're doing. All that information's coming in, and let's just say, for the purposes of this, you got no language. You got none at all, and that's why you can't remember those first few, because memory, that kind of memory, is based on language. It's based on your ability to talk to yourself about the experience. And you didn't have any language to talk to yourself about that experience right after you were born. So, and we all know that really you don't have much memory at all when you were young, when you were very young. And well, it's language based. And so you don't. And then suddenly 3, 4, 5, somewhere in there, you start picking up. And now because now you can begin, you can tell it as your story, right? I was born and then this happened. Well, there's a pretty big gap. And what's happening between when you were born and when you can actually talk about your childhood is you're picking up language. And that's what RFT initially is about. And so you're born, and you're in the USA, because I speak English, USA English, so that's what you're going to get. And so in this USA, you have at least a couple of people or so in your life saying the sound mom a lot. You also have them saying the sound dad a lot, right? And if you don't believe this, they've actually made videos of this process of how many times babies get mom and dad repeated to them. And of course, mom and dad really want them to say mom and dad. And so, there's other things they say as well. Now, funny enough, what's oftentimes a word they pick up before mom and dad? It's called no.
Yeah. Put that up there too.
Because I hear no a lot too. And I know, right. So they get that as well. But let's just go with the mom. We'll go with the mom frame. Okay.
Yeah, keep it simple.
And so what happens is, of course, you're learning. You see mom, and that sight of mom, and the language is that it gets framed on to the sound mom. Notice I said sound mom. Think of singing it. Mom,
really?
Mom. It's just the sound. And so the sound gets attached to or framed onto this picture of mom. Now, if you were in a different culture, you would have a different sound for mom, right? That's the different language culture, you would have a different sound for mom. But here in America, United States, it's mom is the sound that we use, and you see mom. Well, do you only see mom? No. There's more to mom than that. You also smell mom. and you taste mom, and you feel mom, right? You got a total experience, five senses experience of mom. And all the while in that vicinity, that word keeps getting repeated. And so this theory just says that those seeing mom frames and smelling mom frames and everything else frame about mom gets transformed onto the sound mom. So that finally, and Phil's going to show how it's going to go down the vertical line, that mom suddenly shows up inside of you.
On the inside.
And so even internally, before you might say out loud the word mom, that sound is already framed up with those experiences, those five senses experiencing. So initially, that's what's going on a lot, is you're taking five senses experiencing and framing on stuff to the sound mom. Now, we all know that you also have an emotional connection to mom. And so quickly from inside of you, that emotional connection stuff also gets attached to mom. And so you have lots. I'm not leaving dads out of the picture.
No.
It's just too hard to say mom and dad.
Sticking with one word.
I'm just sticking with what? Mom. And so and so what they mean by relational frame is each one of those is a packet, a frame. It's as if a picture frame. And inside of that frame is contained a whole lot of other stuff, a whole picture. But we talk about the picture in terms of, what mom's face looks like frame, what mom smells like frame, what mom tastes like frame. There's stuff inside of each frame, but it's easier to talk about these frames and how they get attached. And of course, language depends on you getting that frame very tightly associated. That sound associated with those frames. So when you say mom, all that stuff shows back up. What mom looks like shows up, and taste, smell, all that stuff, boom, shows up right in front of me. And finally, you will say the word mom. And if your mom is in your vicinity, you behaviorists will know that mom then does a happy dance.
Oh, yeah.
Goes, yay, 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 yay. And you get obviously rewarded. But there's an intrinsic inside of you motivation.
It just says warm.
For making the connection between the sound mom and all this stuff. You can do it on a CAT scan kind of thing. You can see this internal response, reward that you get for making those connections. And so boom, so now you got mom. Now you can think mom and say mom. You also know what no means. No means. It means don't do something, right? Yeah. And it's connected up to those things that you don't do. And for each person, that's a little bit different. But this is how we build language, that each sound gets frames attached to it. And now those frames are, of course, attached in context. And so what's another context for mom? Don't worry, I'm going to tell you, somebody else's mom.
Right.
And one time, when you were a little kid, one time you were sitting around and maybe you had a friend and that friend called a person mom. Yeah. And you're going, wow, that blows my mind.
Yeah, really. You've got mom too.
I have a mom and you have a mom. Wow. That's really, you may not be thinking all that, but that's sort of it. Yeah. And what you learn, and then in another context, mom means somebody else's mom, right? So
same word.
And now you get that empathy thing of imagining somebody else's mom and how they feel about their mom and all that stuff. But it's not your mom. And that's a whole nother frame that gets added onto this stuff. And so this relational framing, of course, and when it doesn't mean your relationship with mom, it means that each frame is related to the sound of mom. It just keeps getting related. And as you go through life, more and more and more frames get added to mom. And now a word that they like to use in ACT is called stickiness, meaning that the frame gets stuck onto the sound, right? It gets stuck on there, stickiness. Well, obviously with something like mom, it's very, very sticky. As a matter of fact, an argument could be made that mom is the stickiest word of all in any language, because it has, for most people, has the richest learning history with it. There's so many frames, so many memories, memory frames, and all the stuff that are attached to mom. And really, folks, and that's what you need to know for practical applied RFT, okay? Yep. If you want to learn RFT and you want to pick it up and move over into the laboratory, and they do relational frame theory research in laboratories and do this stuff with gibberish words and stuff and attach frames to gibberish, non-language words and things, and you can do that. And then you're going to need to learn stuff like entailment and mutual entailment, combinatorial entailments, and all this, lots of stuff. And you may read about that in an RFT book. But Phil and I are here to tell you that what I just described to you is what you need to know about RFT. It's the idea that frames of information get attached, stuck onto sounds. And the sounds eventually become called words. And so that's how we say it. The frames get stuck onto words. It's for negative human experience, like mom, link, child. I don't want to. Obviously, I can't read that and talk.
Frames make learning efficient and sets the stage for negative human experience, like mom, like chocolate and was mean. Chocolate can take on the frame for mom. Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's right. Negative stuff gets attached as well. Or not.
So I just
yucky stuff, I should say. Yucky stuff.
We didn't get to that yet, but yeah, so like we can put chocolate up there. I'll put mean over there. There's another
at least a couple of yucky memories about mom, like when we got in trouble or something. And some people obviously much worse. But yeah, all of that stuff gets glommed on to the word mom. Right. And then eventually the memory of mom. Yeah. So when you think of mom, and let's say, your mom's deceased. You're old enough, you're older and your mom's deceased. And now somebody reminds you of mom, boom, all these memories.
All that rich history.
Some rich history comes flowing back into you all at once. That's because of the highly sticky nature and highly rich nature of the learning history around mom. So the cool thing, and you say, why would that be useful? Okay, well, every other theory of language just talks about, okay, well, that's how language develops, and it really doesn't let us do any kind of interventions with it. And RFT was built to do interventions. And here's the intervention that it was designed for. They noticed that humans, best we can tell, are the only humans that kill the self on purpose. We kill ourselves. Some humans kill themselves. And, the question is, well, why do they kill themselves? Well, sort of a short answer to that is they kill themselves to get away from their own thoughts and feelings. That's what they're doing. And instead, even sort of in a matrix kind of term, they kill themselves to get away from their own mind. Down there, they're killing themselves to shut all that off. So like, oh my, that's no good. Well, then how would you intervene? Well, people had lots of things, but in no theory of language, and my dissertation was in this kind of stuff. The theories didn't really address this kind of stuff. So now we're going to get into a little bit of how this addresses that. So obviously with somebody who wanting to kill themselves, so many of the words that are running around inside of them are bringing up really crappy feelings, obviously, horribly crappy feelings, yucky stuff. And there's no way to take any of those yucky feeling frames off of the language.
This is everything it adds here, right?
Yeah, it is in short of Alzheimer's or stroke or something, it is purely an additive process. Meaning if you try not to think about mom, you just added the not think about mom frame to mom. That's Yep. And you'll end up in an endless loop. You just can't. And so when people say don't think about something,
right,
it is literally and even scientifically not possible. You just add the don't think about that frame onto it. And then, of course, what do you think about all the more? And so in ACT, they like to say, don't think about a yellow Jeep. What's what everybody thinking about? A yellow Jeep. Don't think about a pink elephant. What's everybody thinking about? Pink elephant.
Elephants everywhere.
Don't think about suicide. Crap. Now I'm thinking about suicide. Right. Yeah. And that's because the rules of language do not match up with the rules of the physical world. They're going on inside of you. So you can't get rid of them. You're only going to add stuff. So in our world, in this world, I mean, of your world of behaviorism and stuff, really that brings you down to you doing two things with language.
Yep.
Okay. And so you're either going to add or subtract something from language. Okay. And what we know is if somebody who has decided to commit suicide, their behavioral repertoire has shrunk down to just tiny little narrow things.
Instead of having a lot of action activity here, it's very narrow.
Right. So we would call them stuck.
Right.
Literally the word that is used in ACT, which is just RFT applied. ACT is just applied RFT. But they're very stuck. That means they've gotten extraordinarily stuck in their language. Okay?
And they're stuck down here.
And they're stuck in their heads. They're just thinking all the time, and they're just stuck in their heads, and they can't get out of their own way. And they're just in Stuckville. That's the way it's thought about. I'm not kidding. And so now when you go to interact with this other human, really three things are going to happen.
Yep.
One, you're going to add stuckness to their language and cognitions. Two, you're just going to leave it about the same.
Yep. Or
three, you're going to add flexibility.
Increase.
That's the three things.
Yep.
So you're going to see somebody, and even if it's just anybody in your environment, that's what we're all constantly doing with each other. We're either adding flexibility, not really mucking with flexibility, or we're decreasing flexibility. We're increasing stuckness. Okay. And as ACT is at RFT, then transferred over into ACT, it's just this constant thing of you're asking the question, am I adding flexibility? Because everything, and I kid you not, folks, everything about the thing that you know as acceptance and commitment training and therapy, ACT, that is all about adding flexibility to stuck language and cognition. It's an extension of RFT. And you don't need to know the technical stuff, but it's very handy to know that relational frame theory is about adding flexible frames to stuck stuff. And so then it's, well, how do I do that? How can I add flexible frames to stuff? How can I flex something up, right? That becomes your question.
Right.
And that's what I mean about applied RFT. So all the combinatorial entailments and yada, 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 it's all great, lovely stuff for over the scientists. But out of the real world, it's really just as easy as, well, how might I add flexibility? Right? And how might I inadvertently be adding inflexibility, getting people more stuck? And sometimes you actually want to get people more stuck.
Yeah. And
before you go too flat off a handle on me, let's say that you wanted to date. You're 17 or 18 and you really want to date. Okay. And you meet somebody. They look pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to add or subtract flexibility? Well, you want to add inflexibility. You want them interested in you. So you're going to try and you're going to try and narrow their behavioral repertoire right toward you. And we all do this. It's part of life. So it's not that adding inflexibility is always a bad thing. That's not it at all. And so it's you just go into situations with your eyes open, and you know whether, well, am I going about adding flexibility? Not, literally what inflexibility, or just, pretty neutral kind of look at things. And doing it from this point of view, you can make those kinds of decisions. And so now then you get into, do we have quick act? Yeah, quick act. So you want to see a little bit, of quick act. Sure. Hey, Phil, bring up the
time.
The me matrix. Show me the me matrix.
Back to the me. There we go.
That, my friends, was adding flexibility.
We just did it.
And you didn't know you did it, but that's what it is. That's adding flexibility.
We all did it together.
That whole thing was built to add flexibility. It's like the instant pancake mix. Yep. add flexibility, right? And so you say, well, how can I add flexibility? Well, remember the way I said it. I said, oh, I have this point of view that I work from. And we just go right into the point of view, and it starts adding flexibility. One of the easiest ways to add flexibility, by the way, is this little trick that all humans can do, which is called perspective taking. Right? Want to know an example of perspective taking?
Wait a minute. I think I've got one.
You got to show it back up again. That's what. And here's a question for you, folks. You ready? Are you ready? Do you think you'll have the opportunity to notice who's important to you and yucky stuff and away moves and toward moves? Notice showing up in the next week or so? What do you think? Do you think you'll have the opportunity to notice that kind
Kimberly says yes. I got a thumbs up. Not the matrix again, Ron says.
If you go back, what that question is, and it's a well practiced. If you might have noticed, it's a rehearsed question that Phil uses it too
all the time.
That's perspective taking.
Right.
That's I have you here now, and I have you looking out into the future, and that's perspective taking.
Right.
And I don't have to say, I'm going to do perspective taking with you now. No, I just ask you a question.
And we don't tell you to do perspective taking either.
Well, we just know you can do it. Because all of us are just all the time, we're either looking at the past or we're looking at the future.
You can't lay off of it.
No, we just, oh my God, how, that thing that happened to me last hour or last week or last year, whatever. Or my God, that thing that's going to happen to me.
Yeah, that thing on
next hour or next week or whatever. And we have a devil of time landed right here in the middle, in the center of things, in the here, what's called the here and now, or the present moment, however you want to say. And well, guess where more flexibility exists? Of course, it's if you can get your focus right in on the here and now. But that's a process, and the processes we've developed is looking at things using that diagram.
This point of view.
But it's all based on relational frame theory and adding flexible frames to things.
Adding frames.
And in this case, it's very innocuous. It's, you know, we designed it carefully so that we're not trying to sell anybody anything or do anything. We're just adding a little flexibility and having a little fun with perspective taking. Is really it. And that's the way you want to do it. But you'll notice. So if I say words like this, you know what? And I want to say this so everybody listen closely, right? So in the upper right is toward moves, right? So I'm going to say, now I won't say it to all of you. I'm going to say it to Phil.
Okay.
Phil can take it. Phil, you need to be doing more toward moves. Now, what did I just do to Phil? Everybody observing. Now, what did I just do to Phil? I'll give you a different question. Did I add flexibility or did I subtract flexibility from Phil with that command?
Sent to the lower left. Yes, Sarah.
Exactly, right.
You guessed it.
Right. And any human will go, F you.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
That's right.
The reason I mention that, folks, and a lot of people, they get into this ACT stuff and they suddenly start thinking, oh, my job is to get people to do a whole bunch of toward moves toward their values. You know?
Tell them stuff to do.
And folks, let me tell you, from an ACT point of view, that's not adding flexibility at all.
Nope.
That's subtracting flexibility.
You're going to get pushback.
And you're going to get pushback. You're going to get lower left stuff. And of course, when you get pushback, they're even less flexible.
Right.
You know, go try that kind of thing with a teenager.
Oh, what fun.
Oh, man. Think of yourself back when you were a teenager and somebody came at you with that. Yeah. You'd tell them where to, whatever. So what I'm saying is when you develop this lens, this RFT lens, really, of am I going to add flexible frames or am I going to add inflexible frames? Because there ain't no subtracting. You're just, all you got is add. So you're either going to add neutral, add inflexible, add flexible. That's all you got. That's it. That's all you got. And so then ACT becomes this. Now you can look at your ACT, anything that you learned in traditional ACT or something, as this. Okay, so if I'm doing diffusion work, they love to say that word, diffusion work.
Yeah.
Well, what am I trying to do?
Yep.
When I'm doing diffusion work. And remember, in this world, and I mean it's fact, you cannot subtract. So when you're doing diffusion work, you're adding. So what are you adding in diffusion work? If anybody knows what diffusion is.
Remember, you got your three.
What are you adding? Right. You're trying to add flexible frames to sticky stuff with diffusion exercises. Right. You're not removing stickiness. Yeah. You're diluting it. The easy way to think about it is the pancake batter is too thick.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pour a little water or something in to loosen up the pancake batter.
Can't eliminate the batter. The batter's got to stay there.
The batter doesn't go anywhere. You just add lubricant. You just add to it. So you're always going to be this adding process, adding. And by the way, that was quite the sea change away from CBT, because traditional cognitive behavioral therapy back in the day had lots of don't think about that, thought stopping, change your thoughts.
Change that thought.
Yeah, change your thoughts. It don't work. Folks, try it in the laboratory. It doesn't work. They tried it in the laboratory. It doesn't. That's why you don't hear about it so much now. And the more ACT is becoming a bit more popular. The reason it's not so popular is they make it complicated. Yeah. By the way, Phil and I don't.
Not needed this work.
We'll teach you this stuff all the way. What do we call quick ACT? So quick. How you do those 2 loops. Quick ACT. It really is quick. And the other is something that shows up is called verbal aikido. And because it's based on a theory of language and cognition, you just learn this really cool way of dealing with words. And that takes a while, but not that while. It's not long.
Practice.
Practice, lots of practice. But that's what we do. But we're always remembering RFT.
That's the roots.
And some people have said what we do is applied RFT. We really sort of bypassed the act stuff, and we just went into applied RFT. Yeah. And so, but when we go in a situation, we're paying attention to, are we adding? Are we neutral? Are we adding flexibility? Are we adding inflexibility? We know we're adding.
Which way are we leaning here, folks? Which way do we want to lean?
Right, we're adding. We know we're adding. Now it begins to be I hate to use the word choice, but it's a way of doing things.
Yeah,
that shows. But for RFT folks, as far as that's what you need to know for applied stuff. It really is.
Yep.
I mean, unless you just want to go in the laboratory and become.
Oh yeah, you can be super geeky about it. That's fine.
Go geeky on it, but there's not any real reason to. I'm serious. There's not, and I have read the books.
Really being we doing this a long time.
You guys know, maybe they don't know where I'm from or what I did. I read all the RFT books and all the ACT books back in the day. Bill was around. I did a lot of that stuff, and reduced it down to the diagram is actually an RFT diagram. The middle of the diagram, what's called the matrix, is also known as the RFT line. It's constantly. So what happens with folks? What happens is we start off right at the top. We're little bitty babies, and we be sensory beings, and you can represent them right up there at the top. And then we get to be 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14 years old, and we are just doing a free fall down into the mind. Because of the intoxicating sweetness of language. We can daydream. We can live down there in our minds. It's just gorgeous how we can live down there in our minds. And we become these very mental beings. Well, you don't cause and effect stuff doesn't work very good down there, folks.
It's not the land of cause.
Let me put it this way. You're not going to learn a bicycle down there. Learn how to ride a bicycle down there. No. You got to get on.
How many manuals you read.
Right. You got to ride the bike. And so, a lot of ACT is really taking people from the bottom part on that line and moving them up to the middle.
Right.
That's what you're always about doing.
We want to get them, we call it the sweet spot.
The sweet spot, right in the middle.
Notice.
If it were on graph paper, it would be 0, 0.
Oh yeah. Wait a minute. I got one.
Phil's got a 0, 0. It's just like remember
busy making these things. There we go.
Right, and you got 0, 0 in the middle. That's where you want to get to, is right there, because it's maximum flexibility. That's why, folks. That's where you have the widest selection of behavioral repertoire available to you at any given moment. But then you want to learn through experience what works to get you where you want to go in life. Yep. That's all it is. It's just a devilishly hard thing to keep up doing. However, you practice a lot and keep playing with it. It works. It works out. You get the hang of it. Of the art of staying in the middle. Steve Hayes, one of the gurus of ACT, one of the originators of it, he wrote a book years ago called "Get Out of Your Mind and Into Your Life."
Oh yeah, I have that.
That's exactly what that's talking about.
Exactly. Get to zero.
Your life is really right in the middle.
Yeah.
Because you want to learn from your mind. There's no doubt about that. You want to learn from your mind, but you also want to learn from experience. And that's what all ACT is about, getting people to get out of their head and stop imagining what might happen,
right?
And actually do behaviors.
Get up here
and notice what does happen.
Yep.
And
Notice the consequence.
And then your all good old behavioral stuff pops in, and positive reinforcement or negative reinforcement or whatever. But ACT does add the question. I will go ahead and give you the thing. It adds the question, well, where do you want to go with your life? Because to analyze behavior from this point of view, you really got to have an idea of where you want to go in life. It's only an idea, but where you want to go in life. Well, then once you have an idea about where you want to go in life, now you can go, are my thoughts and behaviors working toward that where I want to go in life, or not? and then don't answer that question. Just go behave. You're not going to learn to ride a bicycle verbally analyzing the results. That's not how you do it. Bicycles are learned. You just ride the bike. And one day you go from wobbly to not wobbly. Just how bike riding is. So that's how this is. So then it becomes that. In the end, we draw a circle around it and ask, is it working? Where you want to go? Now that doesn't mean where you want to go doesn't change. I guarantee you, where I wanted to go when I was 15 is not the same as where I want to go when I'm 65. It has evolved over time, to say the least. However, for a while, it's a good analysis, and that's all it is. That's all you're doing. It's that simple thing. And now if you stare at that, you're looking at the totality of RFT and acceptance and commitment therapy. That's the whole process in a nutshell. And by the way, took 17,000 hours of work to do that. It's not a simple diagram. There's a lot of stuff packed into that, but it works for you, and we have a good time, and we hope you do. And thank you for Tina for bringing us on.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, in order to get your CEU,
don't forget to have to weigh in if you haven't. There.
You gotta click that button right below my finger.
Below.
That green, and then scroll to the bottom, and you'll find a link for getting your CEU.
Yep.
And in the meantime, you can peruse our stuff and say,
check us out.
I think I might like to do that certification thing or quick act thing. I might like to do that. That'd be fun. And Tina, she'll be on. She can tell you, we're like this all the time.
This is us. We do.
We don't put on no airs.
Even with our highly sophisticated slides.
We do have T-shirts.
Oh, yeah, we have them too. Right. That's right.
We have our T-shirts and different stuff, but we're like this all the time. We enjoy teaching this stuff.
Yeah, we do.
And getting, helping people. Well,
we'll get where they want to go.
Look at life from this point of view and get where they want to go. Right. That's what we do. And it's a good trip.
Yeah. A lot of fun.
Oh, and I do believe we're heading into the holidays here.
We are.
I do believe it is the 23rd. So everybody have a happy holidays. And if you're listening on the recording in the middle of summer, well, just know that this was recorded
December
back before the holidays. And that's a reminder that, yes, all of these crowdcasts are recorded. And you just come back to the very same
and see all the recordings. We have
watch the recording again.
I think we tried to get to 100 this year, Kevin. I think we got to about 95 or 96.
Yeah, we keep on doing them. We keep plugging away at doing more. We enjoy it. Hope you all enjoyed it.
Yeah. Find it useful.
We'll be back.
Oh, we'll be back. Yeah. After.
We love doing crowdcasts, so we'll be back. We also like doing the mastermind thing where we do that quick act certification stuff. We like doing that too. So come join us. It's a lot of fun. Bye-bye all.
See ya.